Do you mind explaining to us who is Malcom Jamal?
Malcom Jamal, first off, God-fearing man. That's first. That comes first with everything. God-fearing man from Selma, Alabama. Grew up with some good roots. You know, Selma was a special place. Just to grow up around so much history and, you know, it was his own little pocket, but definitely was a good childhood. Ended up moving to Atlanta. Moved to Atlanta really on the music vibe, but, you know, end up starting a water company called Alkaline Water. Natural spring alkaline water. So, been an entrepreneur for the last 8 years. Within that, you know, Boosie is a, you know, co-owner of the water too. But yeah, that's who Malcom Jamal is first. God-fearing man.
You stated then that the city that you're from, there's some history there. Could you elaborate on the history dealing with Selma, Alabama?
Well, you know, Selma, Alabama was pivotal in the civil rights movement. I always say that, you know, I'm from a city that really changed the world. You know, the visual of the pain that everybody saw from the city is something that, you know, changed the whole dynamic of history just to see people get treated that bad in that fashion. And the world stood up and said, you know, that's not right. And what are we going to do to, you know, make it right? And along with that, you know, bills got passed.
Do you think coming from somewhere that is historical as Selma, do you think it has something to do with your overall makeup now as Malcom Jamal?
Yeah, Selma gonna always be in my roots. So that's who kind of, you know, made me who I am today. So that, I mean, that's what made me, you know, that environment. I grew up in that environment. That's what made me, that's what kind of made me the man I am. So, like, I always pay homage to Selma because that's my roots. That's where I'm from. So I always be a, you know, special love with, you know, where you're from.
So with starting Alkaline Water, could you elaborate more on what led to that? How did that come about?
Well, you know, I had a health scare myself. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You know, I had, my vision was blurred. I was working at Wells Fargo at the time. I was actually in Selma. And, man, I just like, man, I can't see. So I went to the doctor and, man, they had to rush me in the hospital. Man, I had a sugar level of like over 400, you know, was in the hospital 2-3 days. They finally got it down, put me on medication. I was on 3 different medications. I was taking glipizide, metformin, and something else for my liver. And, you know, I just made a constant decision, like, you know, I'm a beat this. So that was a pivotal moment for me because that's what made me adopt, like, looking at things different as far as what I take in my body, how I treat my body, and that led me to you know, noticing about natural alkaline water. And that's what led me, you know, when I first started alkaline life, like, it wasn't even alkaline water in stores, in gas stations. I was walking in gas stations telling them, like, now people gonna want this alkaline water, like, benefits, especially natural, you know, and I built it up, you know, built it up from there.
That health scare that you mentioned, is that also part to do with you adapting a vegan lifestyle when it comes to what you eat?
Yeah, that is the reason that I did change my eating, you know. And I ain't one of them people that like try to put what I do on other people or nothing like that. But this what works for me, So I'm gonna do what works for me. But if you do what works for you, but I know this works for me. So if it works for me pretty well, so I continue to do it, and I really feel like I'm just hitting my prime because of how I've been treating my body, and man, it is. I feel better than I felt 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was in a hospital for having diabetes. I don't even have that. So yeah.
So alkaline water played a big part of that. You mentioned you also took on a business partner to help with spraying the brand.
Yeah. Boosie is co-owner in the water. Much respect to him. I was blessed enough to see, family man Boosie, the man that, take care of everybody around him, see the respect that his kids give him, so definitely a lot of respect from my end, just to see how he move. Somebody that ain't scared to, stand on how he feels, so, that's something that I do respect. But yeah, he's a co-owner. He enjoyed the product, wanted to be a part of it, so we made it happen. And, we've been grinding it out, and that's what we can continue to do.
I know you've been an artist for a long time when it comes to making music. It seems like you've been recently inspired to get back out. It also seems that your music has taken a shift, more of a positive, clean type of music. Could you elaborate on what that change came about?
Honestly, I got to where I started thinking, and I said, if my son can't listen to the song, then it's a song that I ain't gonna make. And that became my measure for how I wanted to do music. If my son can't listen to it, then it's a song that I ain't gonna make. So that really pushed me, to still make music. And there's not lacking on, the music end. It's still a vibe, still good music, but it's just done in a way that, the whole family can listen to. And it's still some good music, so that was really a goal of mine to do that. And I was kind of inspired to take that route.
So being a family man is a big part of what makes up Malcom Jamal at this time. So you're a very proud father, would you say?
Yeah. Fatherhood is what, pushed me. That's the reason I really started the company. When I found out that, that I was having a son, I wanted to just have a way for him to eat when it was time for him to. Make sure that, if I could provide him with a way to make money when it was time for him to, then, that'd be one of the best gifts that you can give. So, that was my goal. And that's what kind of led me to, thinking on them terms, because I needed more at that time. I mean, what I was doing at my job was, I was a banker. It just wasn't moving at the speed that I needed to move. And I took that risk, I can stand. I'm somebody that took that leap. I took that leap. You feel me?
Risk versus reward. So is that one of the driving forces that led you into entrepreneurship and starting your own business?
Yeah, it is because, I pretty much just had the guts to try to do it, And sometimes that just take a lot in itself, just to push yourself to go ahead and do it. Beat your doubts, your fears, push yourself past them just to go ahead and do it. And you got to take a risk just to get a certain reward. That's just something you got to do.
One would say that takes a lot of courage every day to get up and go out and shoot for your dream, to achieve your dream. Where do you think that courage comes from to be that relentless in pursuing your passions?
I think that courage comes from my mom. Definitely from my mom. You know, she was a fighter. Like, I just seen my mama fight, you know, in so many different ways and different aspects, from health things, you know. She just was a fighter. And that's what I know. I got to fight from my mom, you know, most definitely. Yeah, that's where that comes.
So with this new inspiration to get back out there and make new music, is there a spectrum project that we can see coming later down the line?
Way